Hey, how's it going? So, I don't know how many people might have heard so far that use SoundShift, but I actually managed to get a hold of the author a couple weeks back, maybe 3 weeks back now, and I managed to talk him into giving me the source code for SoundShift. And so for the last 2 weeks or so, I've been working pretty hard to try and get something done before the start of the new season. And since the new season starts today, well, here we go. One of the smaller changes I've made is adding DRS detection and activation beeps. So when you cross the detection line, if DRS is going to be available, then you'll hear these. And then when you cross the activation line, you'll hear one. It's a little bit of a different beep than the shift beep, so you'll be able to differentiate. But I think the bigger portion of this update has to do with what's on the right hand side here. I've managed to build an optimal shift RPM calculator into SoundShift now. When you load up for the first time, it'll actually be disabled, and it'll be disabled every time because of another related feature. Before I talk about that, I guess I'll just turn this on and show you how to gather the RPM data that it needs. There's a display here for gears 1 through 8, and however many gears your car has, you'll have to make sure that you've got RPM data collected for each gear, and this display will help you. Each of these will turn red when you move into that gear, and it only records data when you're at full throttle, and while you're at full throttle it'll turn yellow. And then once it collects enough data for that gear, the gear will turn green. So I got the McLaren MP4 loaded up here, the 12C, which has 6 gears, so 6 of the 8 here will turn green once I'm done gathering that data. And I think probably the most important thing to note while you're recording RPM data here is that you're going to need some overlap, because the calculator is going to look for where the acceleration crosses over from one gear to the next, and that'll be why you see me speeding up and slowing down here as I record the data. And since it only records while you're at full throttle, if for whatever reason you have to start over in that gear, as soon as you let off, it'll tell that you didn't make it all the way to the top range of that gear, and it'll clear the data so you can start over in that gear. You'll see this has turned red now that I put it in gear. Yellow now that I'm at full throttle. So once it beeps, I'll change gears, and then I'll brake a little bit to get the speed down. Just want to make sure there's enough overlap. straight here to finish recording 6. Now you'll see this has turned itself off and all these gears are green, so we've got good data for each one. And on the left side here, all of the entry boxes have updated, and now they contain what the optimal shift RPMs are for the current gear set. We keep track of reaction times now, and it just keeps the last 50. I mean, 50 is probably overkill, but whatever, it works fine. What it'll do now is, as your reaction time changes, it will update all of these dynamically. And what that does is make the beeps happen early enough to hit these RPMs. So the first one is 7440, but you'll see down here with this current reaction time, which is horrible, but whatever, with that current reaction time, it'll actually beep at 6705, and what that means is, because of that reaction time delay, it'll get you very close to that 7440, and it does the same for all the gears, obviously. Now you only need to go through that routine that I just did once. I'll restart the sim here to show you what happens the next time you go in. So the next time you go in, this will be disabled. You have to manually turn that on to do it, because you're rarely going to do that. The only time you do that is when you change gear sets. But you still have to go through a little bit of that routine, not as thorough on subsequent uses of that. You don't need anywhere near as much overlap, and you only need to do this the first time you go out for the session. Every other time that you pit and reset, you don't have to do it, and you only got to do it once. So now that I've done that, and these are all green, it'll be good to go for the rest of your session. And wow, half a second. So my reaction time is usually about 280, 290 milliseconds. I'm recording this super early in the morning, just before I go to bed. So I'm not that slow, but I'm still going to be slow because of how tired I am. At any rate, I'll run through the few of the gears here, and it should update, and you'll see these RPMs down at the bottom will update as well. Once the average reaction time drops, these offsets will change as well. Okay, I'm not sure what else I should mention. If you look for the sound shift thread in the API section of the forums, you'll be able to find this there. And if you need any help, pipe up. I'll see what I can do. Okay, have a good one.